Benevolent leadership from the stars have come to Earth to work with us to create a magical school. As a group of light workers, we have come together and are creating a consortium to serve the highest good of the collective in sharing hope, possibility, and freedom, while providing a refuge from the chaos of the great change. Welcome to the School of Light podcast. I am your host, Deborah Leanne, and today I have the opportunity to continue in our introduction and invitation chapter by introducing you to Jennifer Silva. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I know. And it's we have such a beautiful history together, and I don't know a lot about before we met in energy school, but I know that you've got deep and vast skills, and you have tended to pick up some of the lingo when it comes to gene keys and human design, and weaving that into this whole school collective thing is just beautiful. So can we get a chance to see some of that light shining from you this evening?
Yeah. Well, I would say I've always been a really sensitive person, a sensitive child, and sensitive to my surroundings, those adults around me, and a real great mother energy. Was caregiver to my brother who had cerebral palsy. So I left home at 18, from age 10 to 18. Like a second mama to my sister who was 12 years younger than me. And was really drawn to staying in religion while I was a teen, because it helped me have a little break sometimes from home life. So, but just the spirit, I would feel the spirit strongly in my own ways there. And so really had a sensitivity when it came to knowing things to say to my friends when they were going through things, and other loved ones. And then started off being a mom pretty young at 20. And I had 5 of my own children and 3 stepchildren. I ran a home daycare for several. And so my oldest of the pack, he ended up having a lot of mental health issues. And if he were to be diagnosed today after turning 18 officially, it would be bipolar, depression, oppositional defiance disorder, which elevates into what most people in our prison systems have.
Right.
Advanced oppositional defiance disorder. And so we did many, many years of individual one-on-one with him, with my husband's, the whole family therapy. And we were running back and forth to therapy sessions at least 3 to 4 times a week average.
Oh my goodness.
Between all the therapies that we were trying to be in. And I had a girlfriend that grew up with my second husband, and she did foot zoning. And so was introduced to foot zoning probably first as far as energy modalities go. And then she quickly discovered gamma.
Oh.
Gamma, which
is that deeper than theta, or is that, I don't know where that alpha, beta, gamma?
Well, so gamma is like you put the tongue to the top of your roof, and there's a pressure point on the forehead and just behind the neck, right under the the hairline. And by putting the hands in those two locations and having the client put their tongue to it makes a connection to that waves. And so when you find after doing a muscle test, like where's a certain story living within an individual, and would they like to clear that, then you, by putting your hand and making that circuit connect, you can literally feel them kind of shift back when it releases, slightly nudges the whole body backwards, and it just flows into the earth.
Wow. I've not heard of that. I mean, and I feel like I'm so attuned to so many different kinds of things. So how long did you do that kind of work? And did it work?
Yeah, it does. But I like to know the even deeper story. Like what this, and I like to know, like, okay, well, if it originated in a past lifetime, because the teacher, the facilitator of that method, he would like to go fast, fast, fast. He was like a yang energy. He just wanted to go fast, 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 get it cleared. And I didn't necessarily know, where did that story originate, and you know, where does it live in me? And you just want to go fast, fast, fast. So Theta took it to a deeper level as far as like, okay, now I know a little bit more of the origins. You definitely are working on, okay, with Gamma, was this mother one generation back or 70? That kind of muscle testing and find that, but you don't necessarily like go into the story, understanding on another level. So then I went to Theta, and you know, it's a lot of shifting work, releasing that as well, just kind of in a more and that's where I learned about that I can go and see from higher perspective. I can go to seventh plane of existence where our higher self lives, and have conversations with my higher self, with my ancestors, with my angels and guides. And so it brought more of the spirituality part back for me.
Nice. And was this before or after we met in magic school energy? Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Then I kind of had to learn to like ground it a bit more and not go up to seventh plane to see.
Yeah. Come on down to earth. Yeah. Okay.
the esoteric work, the spirituality work within the seven chakras, and meditation with within our bodies, and clearing where that lives in the body.
Right. So how does, and I don't know how long, I mean, a bunch of us about 7 years ago, when did we get started in, it's funny because several of us bought or heard about the Gene Keys all at the same time. It was kind of a weird thing. And then we were all jumping in, and then it just felt too much and I backed off. But you did a lot of work with that.
I've been with the Gene Keys for 4 years at least.
Okay.
And then I think I want to say about 2014 or 15 we met.
Okay.
About a year and a half after, to 2 years after we met.
Yeah. Okay. So about 5 years ago. Yeah. And then what type of work, if you could describe your, how you can support, especially women right now, in opening and softening to their divine feminine, as well as being able to push through the discomfort of owning their voice, right? Speaking up and showing up. How does your work support that?
Well, so I found with the Theta, like Karen was saying in her discussion with you, like really fast forwarded the healing process, where you can go months and years discussing the same thing in therapies. I was really interested in these healing modalities because when I went and was healing my own self through theta, and then I became a Reiki master, that it just sped up the process by 10 times at least, and just really felt liberating to be like, oh, I can heal. I can get over these so, very much PTSD moments that have happened in my life. And so I can do Reiki over the phone, distance Reiki. I can do the theta healings and kind of hypnotherapy, if you will, type sessions over the phone, over Zoom. And so I'm very gifted at the long distance healings. I'm really kept trying to focus back because I'm an Aquarius. And so I will go off and do tarot for a while. I'll go off and study this book and that book. There's a saying somewhere I found once that Aquariuses love books more than people.
I can understand that. Yes.
I got all the books on Audible and so many books within my home, and we're trying to simplify things around the home right now. And it's like, just get it on your phone. And I'm like, that's kind of boring.
I know. I like to hold it. I do. So tell me how, when you and I have spoken, you have been so helpful in helping me see some of the themes in my life and on a really clear basis. I mean, yes, we did energy work together as well, but where I guess I'm curious about is your languaging. When you use the gene key languaging, it speaks, I think, right away to my essence, right?
I think it goes back to, knowing your shadow work. I have shamanic trainings and interest and experience with plant medicine. I have been through what they call the dark night of the soul more than once.
Yeah, well, that's what shamans do, right? You die and come back. And
that's one of my gene keys. Is number 49 is called is my attraction field. And so that means I will attract people that I will react to. That's the shadow. But reaction turns to the gift of rebirth.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I can see that. And I've known you to rebirth. How many times have I known you to rebirth in the short time I've known you?
Yeah. And so that's one of my gifts. The gift of ascension, which is like devotion to ascending to the higher realms, to our higher selves, our godlike selves that already exist within us, right? There's inside of every acorn already exists the oak tree.
Absolutely.
And all the programming is already in our DNA from when we pick those special numbers before coming down and bodies. And I like to speak to the things of showing people their exquisiteness, their style, their special style.
Love that.
The style of like, what kind of style should my home take on? What kind of style should my work in the world take on? What kind of, because so many people think, well, I'm in the alternative group. I'm no like follower sheep type person anymore. But sometimes we get stuck thinking, well, just because I do yoga, that makes me super ultra spiritual now. That can kind of start to come off as just every other person, right. So we all have a unique way of presenting ourselves to the world through our clothing, through the work we choose, through the way that we present just by our homes. So, I mean, I'm also good at helping people clear the energies, the negative energies in their home that might be blocking
Oh,
growth.
that's so important. And I don't think, I think that has shifted my life in so many ways in the last 5 to 7 years of working with one of my shamanic coaches is really good about that. And it, like, even just knowing which way to put my office
Right,
desk in my office. Yes, it just
yeah.
feels so different. I almost keep it cleaner than I did before, but not, I'm glad you can't see my desk. So, so if you could describe, I mean, all of these beautiful modalities that you play with, they're basically in your toolkit. Let's call it your artist's palette. I like that better than toolkit. Can you, if you had to decide what your color, we were talking today when we had the creation team meeting about our different facets and our different fractals of light and how all the colors come together in the light, right? But as we do you know, like, do you have a specific what your color would be? Oh, the purple or the indigo?
Yeah, it's violet.
Oh, I can tell. Absolutely. So that is so you. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, it's pretty high up there.
Yeah,
Vibration.
royalty.
Yeah.
Is Majesty in your Gene Keys? Yes,
Yep,
me too,
that's
darling.
my SQ. That's my
Oh,
heart
I love it. Yes.
spiritual quota.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
so,
yeah,
yeah.
so how does that show up for you?
Um, so the shadow, sometimes it's easier to notice when we're doing our shadows, is about force. And where
Mm-hmm.
it comes to my heart center, I get to say there is no forcing love. Love is just free. Love is just abundant and everywhere and in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the most powerful law and gift that we have in the universe. And so we like to call it in our house love unconditional.
Yes.
Right? Unconditional love in all of the areas that we can be examples of that. And I have grace as my IQ, and so
Mm-hmm.
I get to notice times when I'm really blessed with grace, and that's available to us at all times too. And how we get to play with the fact that my partner has 55 as his purpose, and that's all about freedom. So when you put some of these keys together, they just make a beautiful package. The 22, the 55, the 34. There's within the gene keys, there's what are called codon rings.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the 34, I believe it's within the codon ring of humanity.
Yes.
36 is definitely in there. And so I have the 36 as my pearl, the 37 is my culture, and that's about tenderness,
Oh.
family, and how people are creating new types of family units. We're not all geared necessarily towards needing to have marriages be on paper any longer. We're just really committed relationships. I have a beautiful little quote with two little kids in old-fashioned clothing kissing. I think they're probably like 2 or 3. And it says you should love somebody in such a way that they feel free.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is, and that obviously works with your partner right now too, because freedom is his life's work. So, I have 2 other questions for you, and one of them, if you were to drop in and speak from your pearl, what message do you think our listeners would like to know right now in terms of healing on the planet?
Well, so the 36 is my pearl again, and it's about being a human, and being a human means the mistakes and the triumph,
Right. All of it. Mm-hmm.
and just loving both for the lessons, the growth that we get to have as souls from lifetime to lifetime. Whether you believe you come back to this planet or not, you take it to somewhat place.
Right.
Next place,
Yeah.
whichever corner of the universe you go. And I'm what they call in the human design lingo, a projector, and they're a little bit less percentage of projectors.
More rare. Mm-hmm. You're more rare.
They've come along in the last few decades. Actually, wasn't even hardly any before, I think, the 70s. And I was born as a 75 baby. And so they're really bringing forth the age of Aquarius.
Yes.
Into this next evolution of humans.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the human is a really important thing to focus on. Like, what does it mean to be a human these days? What does it mean to have the vulnerabilities and the strengths that come through all our unique challenges?
Yeah. And everything is so perfect in terms of who was I spoke? I've done so many of these in the last week. Somebody recently, we and I were sharing that it's these exact what we think of as trials or tribulations or challenges that are the pieces that break us open in our radical humanity, right? So that more light can come through.
So they use the example with the 36 of like turbulence.
Mm.
And what do we refer to the most about turbulence? Like when you're in the airplane,
Mm-hmm.
they're like,
it's a pretty rough ride.
and we're just experiencing a little bit of turbulence. Put on your seatbelts, you'll be fine. Well, that's kind of like for these cute little souls, stardust up in heaven somewhere, and collect ourselves up and be like, oh my gosh, there's that great little green blue ball down there. It looks so serene and beautiful. And
I want to go there.
Just go check that one out. That looks really nice. But then you get into a body, a human body, and it's like ba-boom, 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 and right out. Out, baby, right under the doctor's hands who slapped your butt. You start crying from day one. So that's a lot about the pearl to me, is like there's going to be turbulence. There's going to be things that rock your world. And if you're not having your world rocked, probably pretty boring.
Yeah. And being radically human is totally okay. All of it. Oh, I'm so glad you spoke to that.
You're probably feeling like a lack of creativity in your life, and like, where did all my life juices go? Because life is about making some, excuse it, but fuck ups.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's just do some mistakes. Because the other thing I love to remember, and that's my pearl, is 36.1. Mm-hmm. And the line one is about people that love to anchor in. They have creative ideas. They don't even necessarily have to follow every single one of their ideas. They just love the process of creating, like new art, new songs, new books, new poems, new dances.
Yeah.
They just want to be in the juices of it, of just that creative process. And so what light bulb was ever discovered on the first try?
That's true. Everything's takes a
to get the 100th time right.
Mm-hmm. And to keep moving, right?
To keep having the faith that that's okay. That one didn't work. That's okay. That one didn't work. Trial and error. Trial and error.
Yeah.
And we get it the way we like it.
Perfect.
And the projector is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here to kind of like not necessarily retain every person's name that I ever read or the proper term for everything I've learned about. Things kind of go in my empty head, play in there for a minute, and then go out again. But that's kind of what a projector does. They soak in the essence of a story, of a teaching, and they don't necessarily say, you've got to remember all these facts.
Right.
You get an A on the test. The A is you feel better about yourself at the end of the day for the things that you've enjoyed that day.
Yes. And such importance to remember to give ourselves that grace too. My last question has to do, Jennifer, with if somebody is intrigued by our conversation and wants to know more about you, how would they find you or connect with you?
Well, my name right now on Facebook is Jennifer Owens, Owens, hyphen Silva, Silva.
Okay.
And then my email is jjanAESilva@gmail.com.
Got it.
And they probably should say something like something in the email heading like Gene Key's work or
just so that you see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got to get that folder cleaned up and get some spam.
Yeah. And Facebook messaging, you and I have used that pretty extensively, and that seems to work really well. So, and I will put your, I will tag you in this episode so that you know how to share it as well. And if anybody wants to connect with you, they can just click on that. So what we're going to be doing after this first round of invitations and introductions to the creation team is we'll be stepping into the next chapter, and that is going to be about sharing our gifts. And each of us will do small 20-minute maybe teachings or sharings or kind of snippets like appetizers of the type of work that we do. And that will be an opportunity for people to go deeper and understanding what we're all about. And then the next chapter after that, we're going to start opening it up for Q&A so that we can have questions come in and that we will, like you and Trish and, the people that are like the Gene Key people would be great to have all together. And then there's other people that are more the theta, well, you'd be part of that too. So, if there's specific questions, we'll bring together a panel of 2 or 3 people so that they can hear the same answer from different people. So that's what's coming. And I just wanted to let our listeners know to stay tuned, and wherever you get this podcast, we'll continue to send them out. So thank you again for your time this evening, Jennifer. It's been such a pleasure to see you and have this conversation. So.
Always. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take excellent care, everyone.
Good night.